All right. Removable apron. Welcome back to the community, everybody, and thank you all for being part of it. And please click the notification bell so that you're notified when I upload a new video right away. If you would like, Built Not Bought t-shirt down in the description to help support the channel. Today we're going to do engine main seal and the clutch pressure plate and throwout bearing. I figure I try to film everything I do so that I don't leave everything out. So let's get on it. So I have my engine ready to go in, but not to keep it in. It's a temporary thing because I had to adjust the torsions like I explained recently because the car's leaning to one side. So I'm gonna at least slam the motor in just to get some weight in the back end so I could see where the car's sitting. So we know whether to lower or raise, even it. I'm doing that for next week's video. So I figure before I do that, I got to get the clutch pressure plate and throwout bearing in. And some of you were asking recently about doing the main seal. I call it a rear main seal, but some people get all freaked out and cry. So the engine main seal. So what we're going to do here, I just put a new double lip one in mine, and watch this little piece of segment that I did prior, and then we're going to go ahead and put the clutch, the pressure plate, and show you the throwout bearing and springs. So check this out. Give me 1 second. We're going to go ahead and clean it up around here. You want it smooth. If not, it won't seal around the new rear main seal. Okay? All right, what I'm going to do, this is kind of a difficult thing in its own way. I'm going to run it around the snout. Green Scotch brake pad. I can't say that word. I'm going to run it around there. Oh my. Yeah, that made a huge difference. See how smooth it is now? The O-ring goes inside of here. And there it is right there. We are going to make sure there's nothing big in there. A lot of you will put oil around this, stuff like that, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I just prefer to use the dielectric grease. Use what you want. I've had a lot of luck with it. So, okay, we're going to put it inside. Okay, but make sure you put a new one in and make sure you clean that groove out real good. All right, everything looks good in here. We're going to clean this up though. We're going to make it real smooth. Take some oil, okay, and you don't need to put it in your hand like I just did. And you want it all around the outside and the inside lip. Make sure you get it inside here and around the outside. We have our oil around the outside of the seal. Okay, well, a little bit of I just want to get it kind of started a little bit. Like that. You're just threading this in. You just want to recess it a little bit. Okay, let's take a look at it. There we go. You just want to recess it in slightly. Make sure it's even all the way around. Make sure that you take the 36mm gland nut, that's what I call it, to go into the flywheel. Clean these threads up really, really nice. Some guys like to use red Loctite, some like to use blue, some like to use none. I'm probably going to put just a dash of blue Loctite on it. Don't forget your wavy washer, okay? In this gland nut, see the needle bearings? I'm going to take some grease and smear it around there so that they move very smooth. A little bit of oil. Make sure you wear gloves. Don't keep putting chemicals all over your hands and all that. Even I got a hole in my glove. I'm going to put some oil around the snout. A little bit of oil around the inside of this seal. So let's line up our dowel pins. Okay, that way I can tighten it on. It's already started, but I'll let the ratchet pull it in. Okay, that's good enough. All right, I used a regular bolt and went through here with a nut, but this is your flywheel lock, so the flywheel can't turn. Take 270 and divide it by 30, it's 9. If you take 225 and divide it by 25, it's 9. So 252 foot-pounds would be 28 foot-pounds at the tool. So we're going to torque to 28 pounds on the tool. Okay, let's do our 28 pound, which will inherently turn this to 252. Okay, let me readjust the tool. There we go. Right there. This gland nut, 36 millimeter, okay, another specialty tool for these, tightens to 253 foot-pounds, okay? When you see me tightening to 28 foot-pounds, it's because I'm using the torque multiplier. Do your own homework on the torque, okay? There's charts online, there's a chart on my website, so that you know the proper procedures of how far to torque something. So that is the main seal. Now let's get the flywheel lock on and do the clutch pressure plate, show you how to do that properly, line it up and torque it, and the importance of Loctite. And then we're going to go ahead and go to the back, and I'm going to show you a flaw in a throw-out bearing. Come here. So we want to lock our flywheel in place. If you need one of these, just go down in the description to my link to Amazon. You can get yourself a flywheel lock tool. Keeps the engine from turning around while you're doing stuff. Set this in place. I think I got it upside down. I did. Okay, let's get the bolt lined up with the hole. Should be good enough. Need to grind that one slightly. A little bit. All right, let's tighten this up real quick. There we go. Just give it a snug. That's all you need to do. You don't got to go crazy tightening that up. Okay, first thing you really want to do here is clean this with some brake clean. All right, just make sure. Whoop. Oh, good thing that wasn't towards my eyes. Make sure you wipe it off. You don't want contamination on the clutch plate at all, literally. So clean it real good. All right. Woo. That's a chrome moly. Pretty, huh? All right. We have our clutch pressure plate, drop bearing. I'll bring you up close in 1 second. Oh, sacks. Hope the nuts and bolts are in there. I should say just bolts. Yep, there they are. I had to get bolts. I couldn't find mine. So this is the brand that I chose. Sacks. I don't know if that's how it's pronounced or not. Go ahead and come up close here. Alrighty. There's our clutch plate, which I'm going to go try on the input shaft. Always slide these on the input shaft first, just to make sure they're okay. This is really a nice looking clutch plate. It really is. So we are going to go ahead and try it on the input shaft just to be safe before putting it all together. There's our little clutch aligning tool. Woohoo. And our pressure plate. Very nice. Made in Korea. And our throw-out bearing. Let's see where that's made. Made in Italy. Everything's made everywhere. Everywhere but here. Let's check this on the input shaft real quick, and then I'll show you what's wrong with the throw-out bearing. Now, it can't hurt to try this, because what if one of the teeth are buggered and you put it all together and you're trying to get your motor in? You're saying, the motor won't go in. That's why you always check everything first. So come on up here, and then I'm going to show you the throw-out bearing, something I don't like, and it's brand new. So first thing is first. This is also a Sachs. I had this brand new in the box, and I had never used it. And I thought, well, it'll come in handy now, but no, it won't. Watch how, can you see it? How it's not evenly on there? Bad throw-out bearing. Or maybe one of you'll say it don't matter, but I'm not taking a chance. You can see, if you watch the gap here, it goes in and out. I don't think that's a good thing. And before I go over something with you real quick, beautiful. Okay, you just always want to make sure there's no ridges or anything, you know, that could cause an issue. There you have it. So a lot of you have the old style throwout bearings or release bearing. That kind, yeah. And this type of pressure plate. Yeah. If you want to get away from that, okay, and mine is a 68, it's a swing axle. I did a video on how to change over to 71 and up, you know, clutch pack and throwout bearing set. And that there is the new style on a swing axle. So I hope that makes sense to you, but watch the video in the description below if you want to know how to change out to the newer style and not have the clips come off of your throwout bearing. The last thing you need is your throwout bearing coming apart. Let's go ahead and clean up our pressure plate. We're going to show you how to center it and torque it properly for the clutch plate. Let's take our pressure plate and do what we did with the flywheel. You want to wipe this off. Sometimes there's, I don't know if I want to call it cosmoline, but there's stuff on her to protect it and keep it from rusting. So I did buy new bolts because I lost mine. And I'm the guy always saying, put your bolts in plastic baggies and label them. Yeah, I lose a lot of stuff. Now, something else right before we put it in that came with this kit that I want to show you. Come up close and we'll take a look-see. Now, the little package contained the clutch alignment tool for the clutch plate. High performance grease. Came with a new needle bearing. It's already greased up. And what is the deal with that? Let me show you something. It's a tiny one. As you can see the gland nut here on the flywheel. Inside of the gland nut is that needle bearing. Now, I'm not going to pull that out. It's brand new. I just bought this brand new chromoly gland nut. But now you don't need a chromoly one if you don't want to. Mine is a stroker motor, so I wanted to make sure she was good to go. I'm going to put a little grease in here right now. Make sure you don't get any on your pressure plate. Having a heck of a time coating the bearing. I don't like that. Let me get a brush. I'll show you it up close whenever I'm done here. You want the grease around that needle bearing. A little bit more. I always keep these little brushes and you never know what you'll need them for. Now I'm going to smear some grease on the input shaft before I slide the motor in. So let me wipe this right here. There we go. Oop. So now you can see, make sure you get enough grease around there, but don't be a pig and get it all over the place, because then you know the deal. So we now have our clutch plate. Clutch plate. Now you see on the clutch, you have a side that is flush. Then you have a side that sticks out. The side that sticks out will stay out, facing technically the transmission. So it's going to go on just like that. So what we're going to do, put our clutch tool through. We're going to slide this into that needle bearing. We're going to have it sit still there for a second. So let's get our pressure plate. I already cleaned the pressure plate off. Okay. I'm going to start one bolt, even without a washer. Oh, bug in my face. Just to hold it in place for a moment. And I'll show you what we're going to do with the rest of the bolts. Give me 1 second here. I don't want it to fall. I used blue Loctite thread locker. Don't use the red unless you're racing or doing something crazy. The blue should be plenty. So you see the blue there. Don't mistake it because it's a red bottle. All right. Make sure to use wavy washers on them bolts. Don't put it in without them. That's the German way of lock washers, I guess. Now we're going to go ahead. We're not torquing them yet, but we're going to go ahead and at least get the bolts in. And then we'll torque them, and then we're going back to the throwout bearing and show you a couple things. So a little bit of Loctite, a little bit of blue. You don't have to go crazy. I just did by accident. Didn't go to do that. All right, let's start this one. Now, don't forget, if you're doing it how I'm doing it, to take that one back out and put your Loctite on and your weavy washer. I'm trying to get this on real quick here. There we go. Okay, I'm going to speed the film up a minute while I just put the Loctite on, but then I'll show you how to torque it. All as you're doing here is putting thread locker, Loctite, whatever you want to call it, blue Loctite on the bolts, and run them in, but don't crank them down real tight. Not yet. All right, close up the cap to your Loctite, because stuff is expensive. Too expensive to waste. Now, what I'm going to do, I'll snug these real quick. Don't get crazy, though, because they're only 18 pounds. And what did I just do? What did I do? Tell me. What I just said to you guys. Don't forget to pull that bolt out. I noticed it as soon as I seen no lock washer on it. Lesson learned, huh? I literally just told you folks, don't forget to pull that back out. And I got anxious to hurry up and put the bolts on. Okay, now we're on it. See the fingers going in? So when you see that happening, nothing's wrong. Ooh. Okay. All right. I want to get them snugged, and then we're going to go ahead, get the torque wrench. All right, torque wrench. We want to go to 18 foot-pounds. We are at 18 foot-pounds. When you're done with your torque wrench, make sure to unloosen it all the way. Don't let there be tension on the spring while it's relaxing somewhere on your workbench. I know you guys get tired of tips, but I like giving tips. All right. Unreal. Okay, just crisscross as much as you can. Here, I don't have to use extensions, which is nice. Just checking these. And this one, you can see the fingers going in. Now, there we go. Down here. Up here. Double check. You know, it's a wonder there isn't more torque on these, because 18 foot-pound don't seem like very much. But that's what it says everywhere. Okay, unwind your torque wrench when you're done. No tension on the spring. Let's pull our plastic tool out, and we are going to remove our flywheel lock. Take 2 seconds, then we're going to go back to the throwout bearing, since I showed you what was wrong. After we do that and go over a few things, I'll tell you what's coming up with the torsion arms and the engine tins. I'll leave it up to you folks if you want to see something or not. That's what I try to do. All right. Removable apron. All joking aside, I do want to fabricate it to be removable. I think it makes life so much easier because, look, you're right in here. So let me see how good I can get the camera angle in the throwout bearing. All right, let me see how well you'll be able to watch. It's a little tight to get the camera and do everything. Remind me to tell you something about these mounts that's very important. Give me 1 second here. It's hard. Let me get my big head in there a minute. You know what? There we go. Don't be a dum-dum. There's that side. almost up. There we go. The other side, you don't need to watch both sides. Okay. Slide this one off. There's your little clips. I like to squeeze these together before putting them in if possible. On your throwout bearing, you'll see these springs, these little clips, okay? And you see how that clip there is not attached on this end because it reaches around. And there's an indent on the cross shaft like you see here, and that's where the spring clips onto it. As soon as I get it on, I'll bring you up close. I'll try the best I can to film it. And something you're going to want to do is I got a stubby screwdriver and jammed it in here. I'll show you when I release it to keep the arm out slightly. It makes it a little bit easier. I did the best I could do with this camera angle. Now, when you're putting them clips on, make sure they are held on tight and in place, or you will have a serious issue. Okay, that fought with me a little. Here's the way I had set the screwdriver in, and I'm going to have to grease that lightly. But the hooks are on there. I'll take some photos. And there's your springs right there. They are clipped in nice and tight. I love the newer style setup, in all honesty. It's better than the old kind. So that's that. Okay, even though you're tired of hearing little tips and tricks, I still like to give them. When you see these nuts here, they get torqued, I believe, to 14 foot-pound. That was in my last video. The reason I bring this up is if you torque them more than you're supposed to, them studs will pull up higher than they should be, and then the flywheel is not going to clear the bell housing when you're trying to install the motor, and you'll be pulling your hair out and not understand what is going on. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop the motor in real quick. This is what's upcoming. And I'm not putting a bunch of stuff in. The alternator, my headers net, I'm going to throw in the luggage compartment for that weight because I don't want to assemble the motor yet, and here's why. If you remember, we were going to paint the car that colonial red, and I changed over to gloss white. Now the engine's going to look stupid. So I'm going to strip the tins off of this, repaint them. If you want to watch that, leave it in the comments. If you don't, it's okay. I'll show how to remove all the tins and then sand and then paint. And I'll time lapse a lot of that part, but maybe it's important for people to know how the tins are arranged and come on and off. So I got my bushings for the torsion plates. I wanted to put new rubbers in there while I got it apart. So next we're gonna put these big old fat tires on the ground, and we're gonna go ahead and adjust the rear. I'll have the motor in already. I'm not gonna do a motor installation video, and here's why. I'm not putting the alternator on the exhaust system, so it's foolish for me to show you a motor installation video when I'm just slamming it in and out real fast. I need that weight back there so I can get the tires straightened up and see, do we need to go lower or higher? I'm going to show a complete adjustment for the torsion arms and how to level the car if yours is leaning to the left or right a little bit. I always have a lot to say. All right, so that was your clutch and pressure plate throwout bearing installation video. We'll go ahead and do the torsion arms next week. Don't forget Sunday's night live chat at 9 p.m. Eastern. We have a lot of fun in there. Thank you for being here. Notification bell, subscribe, hit the like button. Really, if you want to keep seeing these videos, please do. Thank you and have a great day.